she's suddenly bringing new moves into the bedroom. But don't mistake it for passion, it's a performance. As a woman, I'm going to expose the psychology behind why men misread this shift every single time. What looks like adventurous desire isn't about closeness, it's about covering distance. Before I reveal the deeper truth, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. And tell me in the comments which city you're tuning in from, because what I'm about to share is the physical mask of emotional detachment, the sudden passion switch. There's a difference between a woman losing interest in intimacy altogether and a woman selectively losing it with one man while amplifying it with another. Most men confuse the two. They assume she's just tired, stressed, or naturally not into intimacy anymore. But the reality is, passion doesn't vanish. It simply gets redirected. A woman who used to be fiery with you, who used to look at you with hunger, who used to find excuses to touch you, kiss you, and initiate, doesn't just suddenly forget how to feel desire. That energy doesn't evaporate into thin air. It transforms and finds a new outlet, often where her emotions and attention are secretly going. At the start of your relationship, you probably remember how she couldn't keep her hands off you. Every little moment was an opportunity for intimacy. She'd whisper things, playfully tease, and her passion felt unstoppable. Fast forward, and now she acts uninterested. She might say she's tired, she's stressed, or she just isn't in the mood. She turns down your advances with a dismissive tone. She goes through the motions when she does give in, but there's no real fire behind it. What's happening is not a disappearance of passion, it's a sudden switch in who receives it. You see, a woman doesn't run out of passion. She redirects it to where she feels the strongest emotional spark. If she's emotionally invested in someone else, that's where her fire will burn brightest. With you, the man she's lost that spark with, she holds back. She disconnects, and she uses excuses as a cover. But with the other man, she gives the version of herself that used to be yours. The one full of energy, creativity, and desire. That sudden difference isn't coincidence. It's deliberate, whether she admits it or not. The dangerous part is how subtle this switch can be. It doesn't always happen overnight. At first, it looks like stress from work, family, or responsibilities. Then it turns into patterns. She avoids intimacy. Her body language shifts. Her kisses become shallow. Meanwhile, another version of her emerges elsewhere. A passionate, alive, and hungry version that no longer shows up for you. She may not even realize how obvious the contrast is. But if you're paying attention, you'll see it clearly. The same woman who acts exhausted and uninterested with you suddenly finds energy, time, and desire with someone else. That's why men who ignore this sign end up blindsided. They think it's a phase or they make excuses for her behavior. But the truth is, passion is the clearest signal of where a woman's emotional loyalty lies. When she stops giving it to you but somehow still has it to give away, you're witnessing the sudden passion switch in real time. It's not about her being too tired, it's about who she chooses to ignite that fire for. Experimentation reserved elsewhere. In the beginning, intimacy feels adventurous. Everything is new, everything feels exciting, and she's willing to explore with you. She'll suggest new things, she'll play along with your ideas, and sometimes she'll even surprise you by pushing boundaries you didn't expect her to. That's the early phase where she's fully invested. But watch closely when that stops. When a woman no longer feels the desire to try something new with you, when she shuts down your suggestions or dismisses them with discomfort. That shift isn't random, it's intentional. Because the truth is, she hasn't lost her adventurous side. She's just saving it for someone else. You'll notice the pattern if you pay attention. She'll turn down your ideas by saying things like, "I'm not into that," or "that makes me uncomfortable." She'll resist positions, avoid trying anything playful, and act as if you're asking for too much. But here's the twist. With another man, she becomes bold again. She gives him what she once gave you, sometimes even more. She's suddenly open, adventurous, and willing to step outside her comfort zone. The same thing she once shut down with you, she now does effortlessly with him. That contrast reveals everything. Men often believe their woman simply becomes conservative with time. They think maybe she's just not into experimenting anymore, or that she's matured past it. But that's not how attraction works. A woman doesn't lose her appetite for adventure. She only loses it for the man she's no longer emotionally invested in. What she won't do with you, she will happily explore with someone who makes her feel alive again. It's not the act itself that she rejects. It's you who she no longer feels inspired to give it to. You'll notice the pattern if you pay attention. She'll turn down your ideas by saying things like, I'm not into that, or that makes me uncomfortable. She'll resist positions, avoid trying anything playful, and act as if you're asking for too much. But here's the twist. With another man, she becomes bold again. She gives him what she once gave you, sometimes even more. She's suddenly open, adventurous, and willing to step outside her comfort zone. The same thing she once shut down with you, she now does effortlessly with him. That contrast reveals everything. This isn't just about physical intimacy, it's about emotional investment. Experimentation requires trust, curiosity, and excitement. When she loses that with you, she also loses the motivation to share her adventurous side. But when she feels that spark with another man, she taps back into the version of herself that's daring and free. It's not about suddenly discovering new desires. It's about choosing who deserves to see that side of her. The question isn't whether she's capable of experimenting. The question is who she's willing to experiment with. What stings the most is how she'll rationalize it. With you, she'll claim she's shy. She'll act like she's not that type of woman. Or she'll put up boundaries she never had before. But deep down, you know it's not true because you've seen that adventurous side before. You've seen how passionate and open she can be when she wants to be. And when you start noticing that her excuses only apply to you, that's when you understand the truth. Her adventurous side hasn't disappeared. It's just been reserved, saved, and redirected to someone else who now brings it out of her. The emotional disconnect in intimacy. There's a difference between a body being present and a soul being present. When she was invested in you, intimacy wasn't just physical, it was emotional, it was spiritual, it was an unspoken connection. Her eyes locked with yours. Her touch carried warmth. And even the smallest gestures felt alive. That's how you know she was there with you, fully, in every sense. But when that emotional connection fades, something changes in the way she gives herself. She may still lie next to you, she may still go through the motions, but you feel it instantly. She's not truly there anymore. A woman can disguise many things, but she cannot fake authentic passion. When she's disconnected emotionally, her movements become mechanical. She'll do just enough to keep the peace, but there's no fire behind it. She avoids eye contact, her kiss feels empty, and her touch lacks the softness or hunger it once had. For her, it becomes a chore, a responsibility she tolerates rather than an act she desires. That's the version of intimacy you get when her emotions are no longer tied to you. But here's the sharp contrast. When she's with someone else who awakens her emotions, she transforms back into the passionate version of herself you remember. The spark that seemed lost wasn't lost at all, it was simply redirected. With the man she secretly desires, her intimacy is alive again. She looks into his eyes, she clings tighter. Her body language speaks louder than words. That's because passion follows emotion, and emotion dictates where her true connection lies. Most men miss this sign because they think physical availability equals emotional connection. They convince themselves that because she's still showing up physically, nothing is wrong. But the emptiness tells the real story. Intimacy without emotion is hollow, and when she gives you that version while giving someone else her soul, you're witnessing the emotional disconnect in its purest form. It's not about her being incapable of passion. It's not about her losing interest in intimacy itself. It's about her choosing who she wants to give her authentic energy to. With you, it feels routine, transactional, and cold. With someone else, it feels alive, magnetic, and undeniable. That's the difference between a woman's body being present and her entire being showing up. The selective energy shift. One of the clearest signs of where her loyalty truly lies is in her energy. At the start, she was always available for you. She made time. She showed excitement. And even if she was tired, she still found a way to give you attention because you mattered to her. When she was invested, her energy naturally flowed toward you, but when things change, you start noticing the excuses. She says she's too tired, she's stressed, or she's just not in the mood. Suddenly, she no longer has the spark she once had. What most men miss is that this loss of energy isn't universal, it's selective. It's not just about intimacy either, it's in the little things. She stops dressing up for you but goes out looking her best for just a casual outing. She stops putting thought into spending time with you but somehow finds energy to plan things when it's outside your presence. She claims stress, yet laughs freely when she's elsewhere. What you're seeing is a shift, not in her overall capacity, but in her willingness to give that capacity to you. That's why it feels unfair because you remember when you were the one she saved her best self for. The selective energy shift is the ultimate betrayal wrapped in subtlety. On the surface, it can look harmless. After all, life does get busy, stress is real, and people do get tired. But the difference is in patterns. If she's always drained around you, yet always alive when she's away, it's not about life circumstances, it's about choices. Energy is a currency, and she spends it where her heart is. If she's no longer investing it in you, then she's already chosen where to direct it.